All right. So, are you like me and totally fascinated by what's going on in Kenya right now?
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, get this. We're going deep into this podcast
Okay.
episode called Elevate Creatives.
Okay.
And it gives us this awesome look at like all the trending stuff in Kenya, but we don't want to just like scratch the surface, right?
Yeah.
We're going deeper. We're trying to figure out what these trends tell us about Kenyan society,
Yeah.
about its people, and like what they're passionate about.
I love that.
Ready to uncover those deeper layers.
Oh, absolutely. What's exciting for me is we're getting like a real-time snapshot of what's happening in Kenya. It's like we're listening in on a national conversation.
I love that. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. The top trending individual is Maina Kageni. He's this radio personality, and he's creating a ton of buzz. Over 2,800 posts, like, mentioning him.
Wow.
So clearly he struck a chord. Why do you think his voice resonates so powerfully with Kenyans?
It's more than just his voice, though.
Uh,
I think it's his humor and his ability to connect with people on an everyday level.
mhm.
Kenyans are known for their quick wit and like sharp humor.
Yeah.
And Kajeni really taps into that brilliantly. He tackles everyday issues, the kind everyone can relate to, but he does it with this playful, sometimes even a little irreverent style.
Yeah.
And that authenticity is just so appealing, especially in a world that, often feels so overly polished and curated.
Yeah. It's like he's that friend everyone gathers around at a party. Because
Huh.
they know he's going to make them laugh, but also make them think.
Exactly. And it speaks to, I think, a broader cultural trend that's happening in Kenya. There's this growing appreciation for voices that are genuine, unfiltered, and like willing to challenge those
All
conventions.
right.
Kajeni embodies that spirit, and that's why I think he's resonating so strongly right now.
Yeah, totally, totally. But it's not just like local voices grabbing attention. We also have Bill Gates trending with over 25,000 posts, and then like Madam President, probably referencing a female world leader, with over 13,000 posts. So clearly there's an interest in global figures as well. What do you think is driving this?
It suggests a Kenyan audience that's really outward-looking, interested in engaging with global ideas and figures who, represent innovation, leadership, and influence. It's not just about what's happening within Kenya. It's about connecting with the wider world. It's about understanding Kenya's place in it.
Yeah, it's almost as if they're seeking inspiration and guidance
Right.
from these figures that have made a significant impact on the global stage.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. It's about, like, looking beyond traditional boundaries,
Yeah.
seeking out those role models, mentors, or even just, like, thought-provoking examples from different corners of the world. It's a sign of a society that's very open to new ideas and new ways of thinking.
Now, let's shift gears a little bit. One trend that really stood out to me was this discussion surrounding Kenyan IDs. Almost 3,000 posts on that. Seems pretty straightforward. But what does this tell us about the current conversations happening within Kenya?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think, because it goes beyond just the practicalities of identification.
Right.
It touches on these deeper questions of, like, national identity and belonging. Like, what does it mean to be Kenyan? How is that identity defined? And, how does official documentation even shape that sense of belonging?
Right, right,
Remember, an ID card isn't just a piece of plastic.
right.
It's a symbol of citizenship, of rights, of recognition.
It's almost like a tangible representation of your place within society.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And in a country as diverse as Kenya, with its, rich tapestry of cultures and ethnicities,
Yeah.
these conversations about identity and belonging are particularly significant, I think.
Yeah.
Think about the potential debates this sparks. Are there differing views on who qualifies for citizenship? How does ethnic belonging play into the equation? How are these discussions even evolving in like a digital age where, physical documents may become less and less relevant?
Oh, wow. Those are some really thought-provoking questions. It really highlights how, like, a seemingly simple trend can open up a window into much broader and more complex societal discussions.
And it's a reminder that these questions of identity and belonging aren't unique to Kenya, right?
Right.
They're happening all over the world as people grapple with what it means to be a citizen
Yeah.
in an increasingly globalized and interconnected world.
Speaking of the wider world, we have Equatorial Guinea trending with a surprising 182,000 posts. That's a lot of attention directed at a neighboring country.
Yeah.
What do you think is drawing Kenyan attention so far beyond its borders?
There could be several factors at play here. It could be sparked by recent events in Equatorial Guinea, Perhaps there have been significant political developments, economic shifts, or even social movements
Right.
that have really caught the attention of Kenyans.
So it's like they're not just focused inward, they're actively following and engaging with events happening across the African continent.
Exactly. It highlights this sense of regional awareness and interconnectedness. Kenyans recognize that events in neighboring countries can, have ripple effects
Yeah.
across the region. It could be driven by, economic ties, shared concerns about political stability, or even a sense of solidarity with fellow Africans.
It's fascinating how these trends reveal a Kenyan perspective that's both locally rooted but globally aware.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we can't analyze any country in isolation. We have to consider the regional and global contexts that shape, its trends, conversations, and ultimately its future.
All right, let's wade into the political landscape now. We've got a mix of Kenyan political hashtags trending, including hashtag Harris Walls 2024 Aina landslide, hashtag POCC75, and then hashtag FKF Debate 2024. Can you break down what these hashtags represent and what they tell us about the current political climate in Kenya?
Sure. So let's start with that hashtag Harriswell's 2024 Inland Slide. This one's particularly interesting because it references a potential U.S. political ticket.
Right.
It suggests that some Kenyans are actively following and engaging in U.S. political discourse.
So even though we're focusing on Kenya, we're seeing this influence of global events and how they're filtering into local conversations.
Exactly. Now, hashtag POC75 is a bit more cryptic. It likely refers to, a political movement or campaign within Kenya. The 75 is intriguing, and without further context, it's difficult to say for sure what it signifies. It could refer to a specific policy, a year, a percentage, or even just a symbolic number adopted by the movement.
It's like a little puzzle within a puzzle.
Well, precisely.
Yeah.
And it highlights the dynamic nature of online political discourse. Hashtags can be incredibly fluid, evolving in meaning and significance as they're adopted and reinterpreted by different groups.
Okay. And what about hashtag KF Debate 2024? Does this have anything to do with Kenyan politics?
This one is a bit different. It actually points to a debate surrounding the Football Kenya Federation, so the FKF.
Okay.
This suggests that upcoming elections or significant leadership changes within the organization are a hot topic right now.
So it's not all about national politics. Even the world of sports is generating all this heated debate and capturing public attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that sports hold a special place in Kenyan society. They can be a source of national pride, intense passion, and even a platform for social and political commentary.
Yeah. It seems like we're seeing this convergence of different spheres here, national politics, international politics, and then the world of sports all kind of swirling together and shaping that online conversation.
It's a great observation. And it reflects the complexity of modern life, right?
Right.
Where these different realms are increasingly interconnected and influencing one another. It's not just about isolated events or trends.
Right.
It's about understanding how they intersect and shape the broader social and cultural landscape.
Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground already, from individual voices to national identity, regional awareness, and then the political landscape.